All season long, we've asked you to help us choose the best of the big selling craft beers. Today, we reveal your choice as the winner.
I drank the beer of the future, and I'm here to tell you the taste of global warming is not good at all.
He's Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. We're at the Ship Bottom Brewing Beer Garden in Beach Haven, New Jersey. Welcome to the shore for What's Brewing.
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Monco Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. Download the app. By Visit Bucks County. We are open. Travel responsibly. Follow the Bucks County Ale Trail. Go to visitbuckscounty.com/ale trail to get your passport. By the Craft Beer Trail of Greater Philadelphia. 5 counties, 90+ breweries, and 1,000+ beers. And by Conshohocken Brewing Company, now shipping beer to all of Pennsylvania at ConchiExpress.com.
They're not just familiar faces, they're your friends and neighbors. It's their small businesses, a beating heart that makes a neighborhood a home, where personality is served on a plate and imagination paints a brighter world. A place where fresh is always in stock with a personal touch passed down through generations. Support small and make a big difference. Make it local. Make it Main Street. Make it Monco.
Hey, welcome to What's Brewing along with Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. We're at the shore. How beautiful.
It's time to get down the shore.
It is. We're at the Ship Bottom Brewing Company Beer Garden in Beach Haven, Long Beach Island. It's a beautiful evening out here. People are enjoying themselves. As we are about to do, I am drinking a Hoppin' Hazy IPA.
This is their Barnegat Lager. I've had that IPA, that hazy IPA, a number of times, but I love coming back to a basic lager.
Well, not today, my friend, because our topic today is New England IPAs. I was actually in New England. We're going to do our swap in a second, but let's first define. It is the biggest trend. It's been for a while. What is a New England IPA?
Well, first of all, it's an IPA, obviously. It's going to have a lot of hops in it, but unlike the old school IPAs that were quite bitter, these are softer, and they also have accentuating the juiciness of the hops. Plus, as the name says, it's a hazy IPA, so it's going to be cloudy and quite soft in the mouth.
So our swap today, I was on Cape Cod in New England a couple weeks ago. I brought you a New England IPA,
a real
from
New England IPA.
Yes, this is Pulp Daddy, a juicy, hazy New England IPA. Here's what they say: juice forward, has a predominantly citrusy aroma, tastes like nectar of the hop gods, 8%, right? Made with, easy drinking, refreshing with perfect nebulosity and mouthful. Whatever that means. Citron mosaic hops, house yeast and dry ale yeast from Worcester, Massachusetts. What do you think?
This is pretty good. This has got a nice bitter bite at the end of it, which means it's good in my book, because that's
like that.
When I think of IPAs, I want that bitterness in it, and this is a nice one. I would, an authentic one. I've had juicier ones, let's say.
I'm just going to tell you a couple of the other ones I saw when I was up there in New England. This is what they do. This is the Devil's Purse Stone Horse Citra. This is the Frost Beer Works Junior IPA from Heinsberg, Vermont. And this, my friend, is, as they say in New England, Suppa. Double IPA from Fall River, Massachusetts. Well, I love these beers.
They're authentic New England IPAs. That's where this whole thing started, up at in New England at the Alchemist. They were the first ones to really popularize it.
Heady Topper is the legendary beer that people used to line up for forever. It's a little easier to get now.
Right, and you told me something about the invention of the flavor.
So the guy who designed it is two guys, John Kimmich and Greg Noonan. They began making them in Vermont in the 1990s. The goal in brewing Heady Topper was to create a beer that smelled and tasted like really great weed. So there you go.
You know, the thing about it was that they were way ahead of it, and at that time it was so hazy and so filled with sediment that they actually told you drink it out of the can because they didn't want you to see in all those.
Still do, that silver can, they still tell you that.
They don't want you seeing all those floaties in there. But,
yes. All right, so you got some local.
So obviously this trend is spread all over the country, and
including here.
Exactly.
And hazy.
You know, so much so, I mean, here's a couple local ones from, this is the Wrong Crowd Brewing, which we talked about earlier in Westchester. We visited these folks at Tannery Run. They're making a New England style IPA. Even Workhorse, basically a lager brewery, has felt compelled to make a New England IPA.
All right, so what are we going to try?
All right, we're going to try something a little bit different. This is from Levante. This is called their Citra Drink. And I picked this because your beer is a little bit stronger. It's an 8% alcohol New England IPA. This one is what they're calling is a New England Pale Ale. They don't call it an Indy Pale Ale, it's just a Pale Ale.
Okay.
It's only 5% or so alcohol. So, but it's cloudy, a little bit lighter color.
Yeah.
No, about the same color as yours.
Yeah, here you go. Okay.
That's actually not. That's the
other one. Okay, here you go. Here's the Pulp Daddy. Live television. We do it as we try.
So, Citra Drink from Levante is, you know, it's easy drinking pale ale as opposed to a stiff drink.
Yeah, but it's nice. It does still, it's got the citrus to it. It's got that New England IPA flavor to it. To me, the citrus forward is kind of what makes these special.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And that's obviously, you mentioned the Citra variety of hops that are so prevalent in these. I see a lot of Mosaic ones as well, but Citra's the dominant hops.
So how did this move from being kind of an East Coast, not even East Coast, New England, specifically darling, to something that really took over the beer world just in the last couple of years?
Well, I think partly it was heady topper and the fact that people were willing to stand in line to get that beer. Yeah. This was a so-called unicorn beer, and people down here, they like that. They like, you know, Tired Hands in Ardmore was the one that really pushed on this, and they were making cloudy beers like this. So the idea of people willing to stand in line for a beer is, you know, going to push its own.
And social media really helps that.
Absolutely.
You mentioned the hops, the Citra, the Mosaics, the Galaxy hops. Also, they used a different yeast strain, and you said the malt has something to do with it.
Well, they often add something other than barley to give you that cloudiness. Oat flakes are one that you'll see in there. It softens it up, and you know, it leaves a sediment behind.
Well, I love these beers, and I guess I'm going to have to love them in the short term, because when we come back, we're going to talk about beer in the age of global warming. Joe Sixpack tried it. Future's not bright. We're at the Ship Bottom Beer Garden in Beach Haven on Long Beach Island with Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. It's What's Brewing. It's time for spring seasonal beers and the easy drinking favorites at Conshohocken Brewing Company. There's something for everyone, whether it's the Blood Money Blood Orange IPA, the crushable Ring the Bell Unfiltered Pilsner, Life Coach Session IPA, or my favorite, MC5, a hazy hop bomb bursting with juicy flavor and aroma. Look for these and more at your favorite local beer retailer, or visit any Conshohocken Brewing Company location where you'll find safe, comfortable indoor and outdoor seating. I'll see you there. Welcome back to What's Brewing. We're at the Ship Bottom Brewing Beer Garden in Beach Haven. A lot of bees in that sentence. Long Beach Island, it's the shore, it's beautiful. The summer's coming, and what a great night. He's Joe Sixpack. Follow him on Twitter at beer_radar. I'm Glen Macnow at Real Glen Macnow. The show at What's Brewing PA. Okay, this is a serious segment because a very respected brewer is kind of trying to give people a warning about the future, and you had a chance to check it out.
Exactly. New Belgium Brewing has come out with a beer called Torched Earth Ale, a taste of beer in the age of climate warming, and I had a chance to give it a taste, and here's my report. New Belgium, the people who make Fat Tire Ale, have sent me their latest, and this is an unusual one. It's what they call the future of beer, Fat Tire Torched Earth. They mean a future of global climate change. They sent me the beer in a ammo box, and it's soot covered and filled with dirt and so on. But this beer is the point of this whole experiment. They've made the beer as if it were being made in a world where we have limited supply of ingredients. So among other things, they made the beer with smoked malt to mimic the kind of flavor we would get from beer that was made with smoky water or smoked crops. And because we can't be guaranteed a full crop seasons, they've made this beer with hop extracts instead of fresh hops. So they make no great claims about this beer. They think it's going to taste pretty bad, and that's what we're going to try out right here. Okay, well, they got the color right. It looks like it is amber, like Fat Tire beer. Let's see what it tastes like. I do get smoke in the nose for sure. Wow, it almost tastes like a crappy light beer. It doesn't have any real body or distinctive flavor that you might expect from Fat Tire. I don't get the smoke as much as I might have thought, but this is not the Fat Tire that I've come to love and enjoy over the years. This is torched earth, and it is the future of beer, and the future of beer, I can say, does not taste very good at all.
That was really scary. Obviously, it's not something they ever planned to sell. It's a little bit of a gimmick, but there's a purpose to this.
It is. A lot of breweries are worried about this. What is beer making going to be like in the future? I mean, think about the ingredients that go into beer. Each one of them is endangered by global warming or other environmental crises.
And they are trying to get beer drinkers to make a last call for climate, demand that their favorite brewers adopt 2030 future climate plans.
Exactly. You know, and this is something you can do, if you want to be a
good Samaritan.
A good Samaritan, yeah. Mm-hmm. But the other thing is, so you also have your own vested interest here, and that is the price of beer is going to be driven up by these challenges of ingredients.
And you know what? People always care about their pocketbook.
Exactly.
That's something they always care about. All right, this gets us into a little bit of a discussion about beer and social activism. And the Philadelphia Union, the soccer team, kind of got a little bit of an awakening or a slap in the face recently. They made a deal with the Founders Brewing Company out of Michigan, excuse me. And their fans, many of their fans were not happy.
That's right. Founders Brewing went through a real issue back about 2 years ago involving lawsuits over racial discrimination involving their employees. And they got a lot of heat on this, and a lot of people believe that they did not really respond very well to this.
Yeah, they did a settlement, but they didn't respond as people wanted them.
Right, and this has been lingering out there. Even though they thought that they had put it aside, a lot of people remember this, and they really tried to hold the brewery to task on their future sponsorships. It's so much so that when the Philadelphia Union decided that they would partner with them, there was a lot of pushback.
There was a lot of social media response to it. In part because of that, and in part because why did they pick a Michigan beer as opposed to 50 local breweries?
Yeah, you know me, that's the way I feel. They have a brewery right in their front yard practically down there in Chester. So, to me, this has always been a weak spot for local Philadelphia sports teams, is not giving the kind of support to local breweries when they were really small. So.
Yeah. Before we go to break, we just want to show you some of the delicious food that we've been eating today. Right next door to Ship Bottom Brewery down here in Long Beach Island is the Spice It Up Deli. Dan runs that deli, brought us back some terrific sandwiches. I enjoyed that Italian hoagie. You chomped down on that tuna.
That tuna was going healthy with it.
And we do appreciate it. All right, when we get back, all season, we've asked you to help us choose which of the top-selling craft beers is the best. Boils down to these two. We'll reveal the secret coming up on What's Brewing.
It's a place that inspires the dreamers, the overachievers, a place for those who follow the path, as well as the ones who blaze them. So whether you want to go with the flow or rise above it all, visit Bucks County and be inspired.
That's What's Brewing Beer Brew Down is sponsored by the Craft Beer Trail of Greater Philadelphia. 5 counties, 90-plus breweries, and 1,000-plus beers. Vote for your choices on Twitter at beer_radar, Real Glen Macnow, or What's Brewing PA.
Welcome back to What's Brewing. He's Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. We're in Long Beach Island, Beach Haven specifically. Ship Bottom Brewing Company Beer Garden. A beautiful night out here on the deck. All year, all season, we've had a great time. You always put together these great brackets. This year, you literally chose the 32 best-selling craft beers as defined by
the Brewers Association, and these are beers that you should be able to find in almost anywhere, at grocery stores, gas stations that sell it, that sort of thing. And we had a pretty good list.
We had a really good list, and it boils down to Dogfish Head 60-minute IPA out of Delaware and Bell's Two-Hearted Ale out of Michigan. Before we reveal the winner, I want you to play Joe Lenardi here, okay?
Okay.
What was any big surprises along the way?
Well, I guess it wasn't such a big surprise that IPAs tended to win every single matchup. Maybe the one that did surprise me was an early one when Dogfish Head 60-minute did beat out Victory Golden Monkey, which is a huge favorite locally.
Yeah.
But that should have been a warning to me that the IPAs were going to rule.
Okay, who went far in this tournament that you did not expect?
Lagunitas IPA. That surprised me. They're a great beer, but look at the matchups they had against Anchor Steam. They beat them. Then New Belgium Fat Tire, another big one. And then they took on Founders All Day IPA, which is everywhere.
Yeah.
And they beat them to get to the Final Four.
You know what? That's a fine run by them. And then they lose in the Final Four to?
They lost to Bell's Two-Hearted in the Final Four.
Who got knocked out early that you thought might make a run?
In that round, that Anchor Steam got blown out. And we talked about that, Glenn. And we both, at least I thought that the flavor of Anchor Steam had faded over time. But, they were beaten by almost 2-1 in the first round.
Yeah, that was a surprise. All right, so it comes down to this. We asked you on Twitter. We got almost 1,000 votes, and the winner is?
It was close, but by 55 to 45%, it was that Dogfish Head 60-minute IPA.
Out of Delaware. All right, you happy with the result?
Well, I am. It surprises me a little bit because we had talked about how popular the Two-Hearted had gotten, but, it was a hometown favorite.
Yeah, it was. A lot of the hometown beers do. Yingling stuck around for a long time. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay. All right, sometimes we like to do good idea, bad idea. Here you go. Good idea, bad idea. Dog brew, beer for dogs. Here's the deal. People love it here.
Yes.
Busch Beer launched a dog brew last summer, I guess last fall. Product sold out on the day of its release. It is available. It's obviously not beer. It's not alcohol. They're just calling it that. 12-ounce cans. The drinkable bone broth. You ever have a bone broth beer?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think so. Comes with bone-in pork butt, whole corn, celery, basil, mint, turmeric, and ginger. And they needed to hire a chief tasting officer, and this young man got the job.
All right.
Very happy for him.
He's a beer hound.
And to their credit, they said, Busch said they donate $1 for every case to the Best Friend Animal Society. I think that's nice.
A good idea or a bad idea, Glenn? Do you really want dogs ordering beer at the bar? Come on.
You know what? I don't think that, well, the dogs do like to go to the bar.
They do.
And you know what? You like to have a beer with your best friend. If a dog's your best friend, I'm good with that. By the way, this guy here, he applied for the job and he won. He gets a $20,000 salary, health care, which is pet insurance, and stock options, which is free dog brew.
Okay.
So he did pretty well. Good for him. All right, one other thing I want to show you. The world's oldest brewery, the world's oldest, what do I want to call it? Big time brewery.
Production brewery.
Production brewery,
Yeah.
thank you. You speak English. Was unearthed in Egypt. This is what it looks like. We'll show you the picture on the screen. And what I read was, before the ancient Egyptians built the pyramids for the departed pharaohs, they honored the dead with huge quantities of beer. You respect that.
Absolutely.
It's like a wake. It housed, you tell me if this is impressive, 8 large areas for beer production, each containing 40 earthenware pots in rows. Workers heated the grain in the water in vats, were held by clay levers. I mean, I'm impressed by that.
I read somewhere that this was about the equivalent of a 100-barrel brewery. So that's a pretty good size place, bigger than any of the places that we visited. I'm not sure how big Workhorse is, but it would be at least that big.
That's pretty impressive. Yeah. So my question for you is, what do you think beer tasted like back then?
Well, it was probably pretty good, first of all, because it had to be good. I mean, we wanted good beer always in mankind's history.
I don't know.
So, well,
I don't know what their
it
taste
was
was
an
back
important
then.
thing.
They might drink mud.
They were making it for the pharaohs, though. Come on.
Okay.
But in fact,
Is there any way to know?
Yeah, we had an opportunity to sort of taste it some time ago when Dogfish Head teamed up with the folks at the Penn Museum to brew a beer based on archaeological findings from tombs. And they brewed a beer called Ta Henket, which was made with the ancient way, which, by the way, you would have made bread and then soaked that and turned that into your beer. That was one of the traditional ways.
I like a bready beer.
And then it was flavored with chamomile and fruit and herbs, and they made it. It was pretty good, actually.
You tried it?
Yeah, it was. It's not around anymore, so maybe it wasn't great.
Would it sell? I mean, if somebody tried to sell it commercially, is it a taste that people might go for?
At one point, yeah, but you know, unless the ancient Egyptians were making
it's not
Egyptian
hazy?
pale ale, I don't think so.
Egyptian hazy IPA.
Yeah, right.
Not exactly. Oh, there you go. All right. Hey, you know what? I would try it. I definitely would. He's Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. Coming up, we're going to talk to Robert Zarco. He runs this major establishment down the shore. This is What's Brewing.
The Craft Beer Trail of Greater Philadelphia. 5 counties, over 90 breweries, and over 1,000 beers. Sip your way through it, one beer at a time.
Right on.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Ship Bottom Brewing Beer Garden in Beach Haven, Long Beach Island with Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow, joined now by Robert Zarco, the founder of this great establishment. And by the way, you know I'm a big fan of your beer. I'm drinking this chocolate-covered cherry stout, enjoying it very much.
Thank you. We did that for Valentine's Day. We aged that on Pinot Noir oak, so it has a little bit of wine, the Pinot Noir in there.
I get that.
A lot of flavor.
That's a big beer for a summer day, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
You can drink stouts anytime, Don.
It is true. We have such thing as air conditioning in
Yeah,
the
that's true.
world. So
That's true.
You've got some good-looking beers in front of you, too.
Yeah, so the first one we have here is our Do Not Pass Goza. So it's a ale that's made with salt. It's 4.2%. We added mango to that. We added passion fruit and pink guava. The next one is
Let me have a taste of that before you, so I have something in front of me while you're telling me about these great beers.
Yeah, no worries.
And the next one is?
The next one is our off-season sour. That's a kettle sour ale that is made with raspberries and blackberries. I know you're a hazy guy, so
I would like that. I'm in.
Okay.
I'm good.
That's what I'm drinking right here.
Okay,
so.
that's good.
These are
It's
good
very
summer. I like
refreshing.
the fruit. Yeah. This is the first time I've had a mango beer that was actually this tart. So
Yeah.
Oh,
usually it's
actually,
a
this
sweet
is a
beer.
nice summer beer.
Thank you.
Okay, so these are all great. All of your beer. You know, I'm a big fan of your beers, as
Thank
I
you.
said.
Thank you.
And yet, in front of me, I have this. That's 2 Robert Zarco. 2.
Sorry, you know, we have people that down here that don't drink beer. So thinking about this, we developed the beach bag. These were the hard seltzers, and we use different flavors. So we kind of rotate those flavors around. You're drinking a strawberry daiquiri. I have a grape slushy, and Don has an orange creamsicle.
I have a brain freeze, actually.
Yeah, don't drink it too fast.
Yeah.
But these are typically like 5 or 5.5%. It's just something refreshing. They're great when you go to the beach.
I
Can you
know,
take
and
these
I know
up on
people love
these?
them.
Can you take them to the beach with you?
Typically, you don't drink on the beach, but a lot of people do. You can pack these in a cooler. They can keep your kids' drinks cold, so you could use them as dual purpose, and they work great.
You've got a lot going on. You've got the place here, which, you know, we're moving into the summer. When are you open here? People want to come down?
Yeah, we just finished off the new beer garden. So we had this last year. We did improvements. We kind of beefed it up, got new tables, chairs. So we have a lot of seating out here.
Really nice atmosphere.
Thank
We're
you.
going to watch the sun go down in a little bit right over the water.
We have one of the
Yeah.
best sunsets on the island, and we have social distancing here. So there's a lot of seats. You're outside, you're safe. We also have seating inside. So if the weather's not as good, or if you want to grab a flight, we do flights inside, and here we do pints.
And you got the place at Linvilla Orchards,
Yes,
which
sir.
I thought was just in the summer. You're telling me that's year-round now.
We did that year-round because we found with COVID and the pandemic, people wanted somewhere safe to go. So we wanted to make sure that we gave them a place, and people appreciated that. So we just had fire pits, we had patio heaters, we kept them warm, and then we basically had beers to keep them
moving into
warm.
the summer is going to be great. And you got the place in Ambler as well.
Yeah, and that's open now. So that's open Wednesday through Sunday. Linvilla is open just on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And starting May 1st, we'll be open here 7 days a week.
Can I still buy beer out of your driveway in Wallingford?
Not yet. I'm a little busy, but eventually we'll get back to that. So we did that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, that was your own home brewery that started this whole Ship Bottom empire. Do you get to brew much at all anymore?
No, but I help create some of the recipes and I have fun with that. Eventually, I would like to go into one of those roles when I'm not doing as much of the administration and management of things and planning. That would be great to do. But right now, I'm kind of stuck.
Well, you guys are very creative. Your beer is very creative. And I know you got something else going. You got a big race coming up.
Yeah, so June 13th, we're going to do a race. It's called Running with the Sharks. We actually wanted to do it to kick off Shark Week. Because of crowds, we weren't allowed to do it that time of year in August. So we're going to do it June 13th. It's a charity benefit, so it benefits Borough Beach Haven. They have a canine dog unit, so it helps pay for the shots, medical bills, and then my daughter's charity. She has a rare disease, so some of the funds are going towards
You're
her.
a good citizen, man.
Well, thank you. Thank you, sir.
I think that the thing that I always take away from Ship Bottom is the amazing variety of beers. And we've actually run into this season, is how many breweries can put out so many different beers. You're going from a really basic lager, which is outstanding in my opinion, to some crazy stuff.
Yeah, and we try. I mean, everybody drinks different things, and we try to hit those different things and those different elements. And with the season, the other beer we have here is a Mexican cerveza, where we use sea salt from the bay here, a little bit of lime zest. It's very refreshing. And the last one's a lager, like Don talked about. So, we try to cover all that. We try to have something for everybody. We don't consider ourselves just a beer company. We're more of a beverage company, and we have these different things. And as you know, with Linvilla, we have a partnership where we went into apple cider, hard ciders.
It's good.
So we do a lot of those. We do a cider donut cider. We just came out with a mimosa cider. So that has tangerine, a blood orange juice, and orange peel.
Oh, I'll be by. I'm not that far from Linvilla. Okay. Last question from me.
Sure.
Of all of the beers that you make, what's your favorite?
My favorite actually is Mexican cerveza. It's
Well,
just
grab
very
one.
okay, light and refreshing. I love it.
Robert
Cheers,
Zarco, we
fellas.
appreciate you having us out here today.
Thank you.
In
And
fact,
he's cheering with the bag. You
we
see that?
appreciate. Yeah. Well, hey,
He
go
sold
for
his soul to me.
There you are. That's fine. We appreciate it so much. We're going to stick around for an entire week and be back next week at this same spot. Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow. Thank you, Robert Zarco. We'll see you next week right here on What's Brewing.
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Monco Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. Download the app. By Visit Bucks County. We are open. Travel responsibly. Follow the Bucks County Ale Trail. Go to visitbuckscounty.com/ale trail to get your passport. By the Craft Beer Trail of Greater Philadelphia. 5 counties, 90+ breweries, and 1,000+ beers. And by Conshohocken Brewing Company, now shipping beer to all of Pennsylvania at ConchiExpress.com.